What is the legacy of the Civil Rights Act of 1957? Have you ever wondered how a single piece of legislation can change the course of history? The Civil Rights Act of 1957 is a prime example of this. It is known as the first federal civil rights law passed since the Reconstruction era. This act marked a renewed commitment from the federal government to protect civil rights, especially voting rights for African Americans. Signed into law by President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the act aimed to increase the number of registered black voters in the southern states. These states had long used discriminatory practices to limit their participation in elections. One of the most important features of the Civil Rights Act of 1957 was the establishment of the United States Commission on Civil Rights. This commission was created to investigate discriminatory voting practices and recommend corrective measures. Additionally, the act led to the creation of the Civil Rights Division within the United States Department of Justice. This division empowered federal prosecutors to seek court orders against anyone interfering with the right to vote. These institutions became foundational for enforcing civil rights laws in the years that followed. While the immediate impact of the act was limited, it set important precedents. Key voting protections were weakened during legislative debates, which affected its effectiveness. However, the act brought the issue of racial discrimination and voter suppression into the national spotlight. This was a significant shift toward more active federal involvement in civil rights matters. The momentum generated by this act helped inspire subsequent legislation, including the Civil Rights Acts of 1960 and 1964, as well as the Voting Rights Act of 1965. From the perspective of the 1950s, the Civil Rights Act of 1957 represented a cautious but meaningful step forward. This decade was marked by complex social changes, and the act reflected a growing awareness of civil rights issues. It came during a time of post-war optimism and the early stirrings of the civil rights movement. Although the law did not immediately transform voting rights, it laid the groundwork for future progress. It showed that the federal government was beginning to take a more active role in addressing racial injustice. In practical terms, the legacy of the Civil Rights Act of 1957 includes the establishment of federal mechanisms to monitor and enforce voting rights. These mechanisms remain as integral to civil rights enforcement today. The act also marked the beginning of a more visible and organized federal effort to challenge discriminatory practices. This set the stage for the broader civil rights advances that would define the 1960s. The act may have started small, but its impact has been felt for generations, shaping the ongoing struggle for equality in America.